Radio Radicale, vogliamo occuparci di quello che stiamo vedendo in Medio Oriente, della tragedia che stiamo vivendo nel conflitto medio orientale tra Israele, i palestinesi e Hezbollah. Noi lo facciamo con Izzeldin Abuelaish, che ha pubblicato questo bel libro che è una grande testimonianza di dialogo e di pace. Io non odio, è un libro che racconta la storia di Izzeldin, che è un dottore, un medico che ha lavorato da Gaza in alcuni ospedali israeliani e tutti i giorni faceva la spola tra Gaza e questo ospedale israeliano che poi ci dirà dove si trova. Izzeldin Abuelaish ha perso tre figli in un bombardamento israeliano. Oggi vive a Toronto e tra poco si trasferirà a Bruxelles per svolgere la sua professione. Aveva 8 figli, ne sono rimasti 5. Però lui non ha mai odiato Israele e vuole che oggi in Medio Oriente torni la pace. Allora, ci vuole spiegare perché è riuscita a trattenersi nel sentimento d'odio e che cosa potrebbe dire oggi alle parti che si affrontano in Medio Oriente.
Okay. Thank you for inviting me. And when we speak about hate and hatred, what is hatred? Hatred for me is a contagious disease. It's a destructive disease. And for me, I have to continue my life. When I wrote my book, I shall not hate. It means I will never give up. I will never be collapsed. I will never be defeated, because the defeat is the defeat of the spirit. And I have a responsibility to continue to advocate for life instead of murder, for justice instead of injustice, for freedom instead of occupation and oppression, and for hope instead of pain and suffering. And in order to achieve this, I have to be strong physically, mentally, and not to allow hatred to approach me and to bring my daughter justice and life.
Grazie per avermi invitato. Assolutamente per me l'odio è una malattia contagiosa e per questo io lotterò sempre e lotterò per non essere sconfitto. È molto importante essere in piena salute sia fisica che mentale, proprio per far fronte a tutta la situazione in atto in questi tempi.
Dove si trovava il 7 ottobre dello scorso anno? Lei ha perso i suoi figli nel 2009 e cosa ha capito di questa recrudescenza degli ultimi 12 mesi?
Where were you on October the 7th, 2023? And you have lost in 2009 your 3 daughters.
And niece.
And your niece. What is your opinion about these new events of the last year?
Yeah. My daughters were killed and my niece were killed 16th of January 2009, and many other members were murdered. And on that war against the Palestinians, about 1,300 Palestinians were murdered, followed by 2012, a war against Palestinians, 2014, 2018, and even in 2014, 2,300 Palestinians were murdered and more than 10,000 were severely wounded. 2018, 2021, 2022, and then we have 2023. So it's a continuum. The world is not created October 7. It was one day in our life, as it's one day in your life, where I condemn and I stand up to advocate for life for all, justice for all, and no one should be killed as innocent human being. And all human beings are equal and they deserve to be mentioned and to be valued.
In realtà il 7 ottobre è stato un giorno terribile, nessuno deve essere ucciso mai, soprattutto persone innocenti. Qui però parliamo di una guerra che è una situazione che continua da tempo. Le mie figlie sono state uccise il 16 gennaio 2009, così come mia nipote. Poi c'è stato il 2012, il 2013, il 2014, poi di nuovo 2018, 19 e 20. Cioè è una situazione che continua da anni e va trovata una soluzione.
And today we are 18th of October 2024. What happened since October 7, 2023 until now? More than 42,000 innocent Palestinians are murdered. The majority of them are children and women. More than 100,000 are severely wounded. Gaza Strip now has been turned and leveled with the ground. Gaza Strip now is a ghost. You can't recognize it. My family are there in Jabalia camp. More than 55 members of my family, 2 sisters, nephews, were murdered, and it continues. Gaza Strip now is a childless, futureless, homeless, hopeless, foodless, waterless, healthless, schoolless. And that's what we need to talk about. It's a human crisis, even it's the crisis of the humanity. And the only thing we need to speak about it, about the valuing human life, and to stop this war crime, and to think what led to it, and to have a new approach to put an end to the occupation where Palestinians can be free and Israelis can be free side by side.
What do you think about Hamas and the Prime Minister Netanyahu? What the difference?
When I speak Netanyahu as a Prime Minister of Israel, and I don't deal with individuals, I deal with people, the Israeli people and the Palestinian people. Sinwar, he doesn't represent the Palestinian people, or Hamas doesn't.
Sinwar, no.
Yes, and Hamas doesn't represent the Palestinian people. The issue is the Palestinian and the Israeli people and the Israeli administration. Israelis are occupying the Palestinians, colonizing the Palestinians in the Gaza Strip, West Bank, and East Jerusalem. And personally, I advocate for equalization between them instead of being occupier, occupied, oppressor, oppressed, colonizer, colonized, both of them to be free with dignity, with justice, with equality. And that's the only way. We should not judge it based on individuals. We should judge it based on what is going on, the general issue. And we need the world to save the Palestinians and the Israelis from the destructive act of Netanyahu. What Netanyahu is doing is destructive to the Israelis, to the Palestinians, and to the world.
Izzeldin, what happened after the deed of Sinwar? What happened now in Israel and in Gaza?
After the assassination and the murder of Sinwar, what continued, I am in touch with my family in the north of the Gaza Strip. They are continuing and sending more troops to attack the Palestinians in the Gaza Strip. More suffering, more deprivation, more hunger, more starvation. So if they kill Sinwar, let them stop it. The opposite, this shows the bad intention, the hidden intention to continue the destruction of Gaza Strip, and that it wasn't their goal to kill Sinwar. It was their intention to continue with attacking the Palestinians in Gaza, and you see it in Lebanon, in Syria, other parts, to expand it. So it's time to stop this bloodshed, and we should not be deceived or cheated to think that it's about Sinwar or about Hamas. It's about a hidden agenda by Netanyahu and his right-wing fanatic government.
And if you can say something to Palestinian people, what you say now, today?
I will say to the Palestinian people who are under attacks, under bombardments, instead of directing my words to the Palestinians, I direct my words to the world who is watching what is happening, their murder, and they are either silent, indifferent, or complicit about it. Where we are living in a world which is discordant and just in this world, where are we from our humanity? It's time for the world to think of the Palestinians as human beings. You in Italy, you have human rights, you have animals' rights. Think of the Palestinians' rights, deal with the Palestinians as animals, advocate for the Palestinians' rights as animals. When you see an animal killed here, you will stand up to speak about where are you from the Palestinians' rights as a human? Are they human or not? Deal with them as a human, advocate for their humanity, not to watch their killing and their murder and to be silent or biased or even to add more fuel to the fire by providing weapons to kill the Palestinians.
You will come back in Palestine. You will come back to life. Your dream is to come back in Palestine to live in peace with the Israeli people.
You are Italian.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I am.
And you live in Italy. You have a state. You
Yes.
have a country. For me, as a Palestinian, Palestine is in my heart, in my mind, in my soul. It moves with me everywhere. I want one day. And I told my children, if anything to happen to me, to be buried in Palestine close to my daughters. The first thing when I go back to Gaza, before I go to my home, I visit the graves of my daughters to say to them, I am coming back. I want to live in peace, but this peace not to be a word, peace to be translated into action, into justice, into dignity, into freedom, into equality. Then peace will be a consequence. And this peace is dependent and linked to the Palestinian. The Israelis' peace is linked to the Palestinians' peace. They are not in peace as long as Palestinians are not. They are not safe or secure as long as Palestinians are not. I want to see the end of the occupation and the colonization, where both focus on the commonalities and to turn the page of suffering, where we can live as equal people there. And that's what I am committed to advocate for, and nothing is impossible in life. Nothing, everything is possible. The only impossible thing in life I believe in is to bring my daughters back to life. But we need the world to stand up, because ending the occupation and the bringing peace based on these values, justice, equality, dignity, freedom, and rights of all, the whole world will benefit from it. So we want all of us to come together to achieve this human goal by humanization, equalization between Palestinians and Israelis.
The last question, Mr. Izzeldin Abuelaish. What can you say about the Arabian people who want the end, the destruction of Israel? What can you say?
Who said that?
What can you say?
Who said that? Who said that?
The Arabian people.
Which Arabian? Tell me who.
The Arabian, the Iranian people.
Iranian is not
Yeah.
Arabian. And Iran is there. So when this propaganda that we are using and deceiving and misinformation.
The Hezbollah. What can you say to
Hezbollah, I will tell you, Hezbollah, they are in Lebanon. As you speak about Lebanon, what do we have? We should not be deceived. And
There is no Palestinian who want the end of...
But what about the Israelis, the incitement where they speak about the Palestinians as a human animals? They want to knock the Palestinians with the nuclear bombs. You remember it, what Netanyahu, he started to incite all of the time. Even the Israeli Knesset, they said there will never be two-state solution. There is no Palestinian state. So that's what you need to see it. And Israel is attacking Lebanon. They attack Syria. Do you remember it, what they did with the Iranian embassy in Syria? Why do they go? How they assassinated Haniya in Iran? They are not. And when you speak about Israel, the current Israeli government, I don't speak about the public. The current Israeli government, they have no borders. Let Israel define their borders. Do they have borders? No, they want to expand it. So this propaganda that we are using and misinformation, we should not. I want the Israelis to be safe, and they used to say it before. The Israelis, that Palestinians want to throw Israelis in the sea. And have you seen any Israelis thrown in the sea? It's a myth, and that's myth. That's lie. That the Arabs, they have peace with Jordan, they have peace with Egypt, and they can have peace with all of the region, and this peace is linked and dependent on ending the occupation, the colonization, where I would love to see the Israelis included as equal.
Okay.
And this is the only way.
I don't say all Arabian want
Because you mentioned Arabs.
I don't say.
You Arabs.
Yes.
Which Arabs?
Yes,
and that's what I want to know, which Arabs.
But there are the Arabs who want.
But what about the Israelis? I want to ask you. What about the settlements, the settlers? What are they doing on daily basis in the West Bank? Do you know what is happening there by the settlers?
Yes, I know.
So why you don't speak about it? So I want you to expose it. What do they do? House evictions, demolishing trees, expansion of the settlements. For them, we are not a human.
Okay.
For the Israelis, and you heard Gallant, the Minister of Defense, he said, they are not a human. Are we human or not? You should be angry when they speak about Palestinians as not a human.
No, I think the Palestinian is a human.
But what can you say to him? Is it a crime when someone to incite against intimidation and humiliation? And that's what we need to speak about. When an Israeli Knesset member and minister to speak, they want to knock the Palestinians with the nuclear weapons, with atomic bomb. Did you speak about it? That's what we need to speak about it. Did you speak about the children? I can show you the Palestinians. I will bring it to you.
What can you say?
Yeah, here.
Okay.
You see Palestinians in Jabalia camp. They are praying, the funeral praying on a Palestinian who was killed. You know what it is? Only his head. Only his head is remaining. It's a privilege in Gaza Strip if someone to be killed and to be one part. It's a privilege in Gaza Strip to have a funeral for someone. My nephew, he was wounded. He's a nurse, wounded last week, and he was collapsed. And I asked his sister, did he eat? She said to me, we opened for him a can of tuna. Tuna is a privilege. And in the morning, we gave him a cup of milk. They are dying from starvation, from lack of water. They are dying they are closer to death than to life. And that's what we need to speak about, to value a human life. How the world can tolerate it, to watch it, and then to speak about something else. And we know we can prevent it. War is to be prevented, not to talk about it. That's what we need. War is to be prevented, not to talk about. War is not to be documented. And to remember it, war is to be avoided and to be contained and to be stopped. When I see a bleeding patient, if there is a bleeding patient in front of me, what do? I should jump to stop the bleeding. Where is our world to stop it? It's a crisis of humanity. It's a stigma of humanity. Where are we from humanity? And that's what we need. And this is not beneficial to the Palestinians. It will help the Israelis.
Another question, is it possible? Today you have met Ellie Schlein. What do you say to Ellie Schlein?
Yeah, I spoke about the current situation and what I found in her, the positive human being. I saw in her a woman who cares as a leader, who humanizes, not the police, and she is aware of what is happening, and she is doing her part. And that's what I urge all of the Italian political leaders to stand up as she is standing, to call for immediate ceasefire, ending the occupation, and most important, recognition of the Palestinian state. And that's the only way she knows what is happening. Riyadh, and to take things not out of context, but to take it as a continuum, the history and what happened before October 7 and what happened after October 7. Because October 7 is one day in our life, which was tragic to all, but what about the other days after, and the long-term protracted occupation, which has been there for more than 5 decades, and the Nakba that we have it more than 7 decades.
Thank you very much. Io ringrazio Izzeldin Abuelaish, autore di questo bel libro I Shall Not Hate, A Gaza Doctor's Journey, che racconta la storia di Izzeldin, che ha prestato il suo lavoro lavorando tra Gaza e Israele e che ha perso 3 figli, la cui testimonianza resta un modo per capire la complessità di questa realtà che noi ci affrettiamo a giudicare nello scontro tra 2 muri. Eppure esiste anche un'altra strada, che è quella della pace, che noi auspichiamo per tutti affinché non scorra più sangue in Medio Oriente. La ringrazio Izzeldin Abuelaish, che ci ha lasciato questa grande testimonianza come autore di questo bel libro. Grazie.
And I can say a message to the Italian people. I say to them, have faith, have hope, but most important, to take action and to think of others in a positive way and to do their part for a human reason, for Palestinians and Israelis to stand for justice, freedom of Palestinians and Israelis, side by side.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.